Welcome back to True to Christ Ministries. My name is Keith, and today we're going to be doing part 2 of our Jesus Fulfilled What series, which is a verse by verse look at the Gospel of Matthew and what the main emphasis of the Gospel of Matthew is fulfilled prophecy and how Jesus was the Messiah. So where we left off was verse 18. So I'm going to read from verse 18 through 23, and then we'll dissect it a little bit. Now, the birth of Jesus Christ took place in this way. When his mother Mary had been betrothed to Joseph, before they came together, she was found to be with child from the Holy Spirit, and her husband Joseph, being a just man and unwilling to put her to shame, resolved to divorce her quietly. As he considered these things, behold, an angel of the Lord appeared to him in a dream, saying, Joseph, son of David, do not fear, take Mary as your wife, for that which is conceived in her is from the Holy Spirit. She will bear a son, and you shall call his name Jesus, for he will save his people from all their sin. All this took place to fulfill what the Lord had spoken by the prophet. Behold, the virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and they shall call his name Emmanuel, which means God with us. So, as we see here in verse 6, it talks about how the conception of Jesus in Mary was before Joseph and Mary had consummated the relationship. Her being still a virgin, she was pregnant. He was like, hey, I don't want to put her to shame. And so obviously the child was not Joseph's, and he was concerned about this. And then it says in verse 20 that the angel of the Lord came to him to comfort him in this. And the angel of the Lord said, Joseph, son of David, which, as we discussed in the first video in this series, that the genealogy is there to point out that Jesus fulfilled prophecy by being in the lineage of David. So Joseph is referred to as son of David, and he's supposed to marry Mary and have Jesus as a son. And then it has a prophecy here on verse 21 that talks about how he will save all of his people from their sins. So that's a prophecy for later in the Gospels and in the book of Acts, and then even now into the current church age. And then, like it says in verse 22, all of this took place to fulfill what the Lord had spoken through the prophet. And so that actually, the next verse, behold, a virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and they shall call his name Emmanuel, was, if I could click the right thing, from Isaiah chapter 7, verses 14. And so the second / kind of third fulfilled prophecy is Jesus being born of a virgin or conceived through the Virgin Mary. And so that's number 3 of 3 prophecies within the first 23 verses of Matthew. And as we go further, you're going to see that the amount of prophecies just keep compounding, that Matthew was very intent that we knew that Jesus was the Messiah. Not specifically us, but the Jewish people, that they would know by reading that the statements that he made were very clear to the Jewish people of who he was saying Jesus was. And so I found that very interesting, and we will pick up next week on Wednesday, starting in verse 24. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. If you enjoyed this video, please comment and subscribe. Tell a friend, send it to a friend, and let's get it out to more people.